Alright, we're live. We're live, pal. April the 17th, ladies and gents. April 17th, 2020, brother. Jeez. Okay, so this is a wee live stream. Totally out of the blue. A wee impromptu live stream. There's my favourite word. Impromptu. You ever been asked that question? What's your favourite word? And you have no idea what to say? Because, I mean, who has favourite words? Apparently me. Let's lift it up a little bit. You're a little bit low down, lads and girls, if you're a female out there. Doubt it. Is that 1001 Movies Must See Before You Die book from... When did I get this? I know I got it the year it came out. 17, whatever one. That Gravity, that cover. It just says the completely revised and updated version. 1.5 million copies sold. There you go. Can you believe that? 1.5 million copies sold. When was this out? I'm guessing 17. That's when I think I got it. I don't know. It'd be good if they told you that. They probably do, and I'm looking absolutely daft. Oh look, we've got a copyright infringement here from one Luke Ryan. What's up, brother? I'm not stealing your idea, I promise. These are some wrestling books that you're going to sit on. This is Jericho's third book. We have the Daniel Bryan one, which is amazing, really underrated, and the Justin Roberts one, which is also extremely underrated. Let's lift you up. Like that, you can sit on the books. Oh my god, this is a disaster. I've got too much stuff on this desk here. Too much stuff on the desk. Basically, this is a live stream, if you didn't figure that one out already, because I don't have a video to go out today, because I've been lazy. There's my cup of tea in the way. I don't have a video today, so this is what we're getting instead. I hope that's alright. I'm sure you're out there cussing me and everything. Cussing me? Swearing at me. But I don't have a video for today, so I thought, let's go live, pal. I am going to sign in here on YouTube and read any of the comments that came in, because I missed a couple there because I was faffing about with the books. Basically, another reason why I'm here is because that's not the right answer. That's not the right password. I mean, let's see. Is that the right password? The reason I'm here is also to promote my new wrestling podcast. By the way, that's really, when we get down to it, that's the main reason why I'm here. I've got a new podcast launching on Sunday, and that thumbnail's ridiculous. What was I thinking? I've got a new podcast launching on Sunday called The Wrestling Connection, and it's going to be on all podcasting outlets. I hope. I'm still waiting on Apple Podcasts, but everything else is there. I took a note of where we are, We're on Breaker, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, and Spotify so far, and Anchor. If you use any of those places, then that's where you'll be able to find my new podcast, and hopefully Apple Podcasts. We should be. It's just it's taking its time for some reason. So. That's coming up on Sunday, and a week exclusive here to you live viewers, or if anybody watches this on demand. We've got a very special guest in this one, introducing the podcast. We have a very special guest, a wrestling personality, a wrestling announcer / commentator, will be introducing us into the debut episode this coming Sunday, The Wrestling Connection. A couple of comments here. Reservoir Review says it's Gravity on the cover. Yep, it's probably the 2014 edition. There you go. I know there's been a bunch. I don't know if they do them every year, but they do. There's a bunch of them, and I just picked that one up whenever. Must have been around that time, because I think it was the most up to date one. Hello to Lawrence. Thank you so much for always watching, commenting. Always means a lot. Always notice your comments and stuff. How am I getting on? I'm getting on really well. I'm getting on good. I am really enjoying the downtime. I'm going a bit mad in terms of being quarantined and isolated and that sort of thing. Just because you go a bit mad when you're stuck in the house all day and that sort of thing, and you only go out once a day and that sort of thing. But in terms of work and that sort of stuff, I'm done. I've got nothing to do. I'm not in uni, I'm not in college, I don't need to do any exams, my work is shut. It's like I've got nothing, to do. So I'm kind of enjoying the downtime, getting to watch a bunch of stuff. But in terms of getting a bit restless and kind of want to get back to work, I'm kind of feeling that. Did you manage to check out Coulter Wall, Saskatchewan, 1881? I'm assuming you mean 1981, because if he was 1881, he would not look the way he looks. Although Coulter Wall does look extremely young for the way he sounds. He looks about 18 and he sounds like a 46-year-old. Brilliant voice. And one of my favourites to react to, actually. Recommend Coulter Wall to everybody. No, I've not checked out yet, and I apologise, because I always say in the comments, I'm going to get to them, and I haven't. So I will get to it though. I've got a big playlist full of recommendations and that sort of thing, and I'm sure I'll do that. Luke says, yeah, there's a new edition every year. The cover features one of the new films added, of course. Okay, nice. I don't know how or who makes the decisions. Do you know what I mean? It's always one of the Oscar films, or it's never like a best picture, but I don't know. It's always just a great film from that year anyway. Good time to focus on the podcast, indeed, and also it is 1881. Really? Or maybe, it's the name of the song. Right, I get you now. I thought you meant perform the song in 1881. I get it's the name of the song, I get it now. Okay. I'll get to that very soon. Thank you, Lawrence, for always commenting and watching the videos. I appreciate it greatly. How's everybody else getting on, quarantine-wise, isolation-wise? It is a bit weird. It's good for downtime, as I was saying, and it's good to kind of watch things. And I'm not really a TV guy. I kind of talked about this in my latest channel update thing, but I'm not much of a TV guy. I'm more of a film guy. But recently, just because of all the downtime and all the free time and that sort of thing, it's kind of made me watch some more TV. I've been watching The Clone Wars, and I've been watching a couple episodes, classic episodes of The Simpsons, and I've been watching The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody on Disney Plus. One of my favourite shows of all time, it would probably be Keenan and Kel, Drake and Josh, and The Sweet Life. They would be my top 3 favourite TV shows as a kid. Because if I wasn't watching one of those ones, I was watching wrestling as a child. So that's why I'm the way I am now. So I've been watching that on Disney Plus. Tonight, I think we're having a wee family movie night, which is going to be nice. We're going to check out Big Hero 6 on Disney Plus. Never seen it before, know nothing of the film. I know it's regarded a really good one, but I know nothing of the film, so I'm looking forward to checking that out. Lauren says that Coulter Wall is 24, which is 2 years older than me, and that kind of makes me sad because Coulter Wall is ridiculously talented and successful, and I'm sitting here in the middle of isolation with my hair looking like I've not had it cut in about 8 years. Look at this. I've always got bad hair, but most recently it's been a disaster. We bought razors to cut our hair in our own time, and I can't do it. We tried to cut my dad's hair, and it's too scary. I'm not doing it. Lauren says he's very good, thank you. Working from home, keeping busy, but we'll be grateful to get out more when this is all over. My wife is a nurse on the COVID ward, so we'll have to be extra careful. No family, no visitors. First of all, your wife is a hero. Big up to all the workers out there. Big up all the NHS workers and the nurses, the doctors, the ambulance drivers, everybody like that who are keeping us safe. My dad is the same. He is an ambulance driver. He's out working every single day as well, so we have to kind of be careful, but we're taking all the necessary precautions. We are washing our hands all the time. We are staying safe and that sort of thing. I've not been the first time I went to the shops was today. I went with my mum to the shops today, and I wouldn't call myself a germ freak, but I don't like germs. Who likes germs? I know, but I don't like things like that. It kind of freaks me out a little bit. So today was my first time at the shops, and I was a bit kind of like the queue outside, and you go all the way around the car park and stuff like that, and it flew in. The queue, it didn't take very long, but when you're in there and there's so many people about, sneezing and coughing as if there's not a pandemic going on, drives me nuts, and I was a little bit scared today. But we ended up buying a lot of good stuff to keep us going. A wee trip to Asda, so that was good. But yes, good to hear it, Lauren. Stay safe, and say hello to your wife for me, and say thank you from all of us. Really, really cool. What else have I been watching? I watched Fight Club the other day. Here it is here. Oh. For the first time ever. I was thinking about doing a movie vlog or something, but I just never filmed anything when I'm watching it. And it's like, what do you film? Do you know what I mean? Like, you film the screen and you film what you're eating and drinking. But after that, you need to kind of wait until you've got a full opinion on it. And also, I always struggle straight away to get an opinion, like a full opinion on the film. I need to let it sit for a bit. I don't know if I need to sleep on it or whatever. I need to kind of let it sit and let it digest in my head, and then have a full opinion of a film. That's why I kind of mentioned this on a podcast daft, I know, but I kind of mentioned this on a film podcast that I was a guest on last week, Whereas I almost don't like that journey down the escalators at the cinema, like after you've seen the film. Because I'd never tend to go on my own, I've only been on my own a couple of times, but in terms of, I tend to go with friends. And it's like, once you come out of the cinema, I have this rule with my friends, and my friends agree, that once we've seen the film, we're not allowed to speak about the film until we're properly out the cinema, like out the screen, out the concession bit, we're on the escalators going down. And even that, I don't think is enough time. I'd rather wait until we're halfway up the road, you know? But no, I have this sort of unwritten rule where it's like we can't talk about it until we've had at least a couple minutes to think about it and that sort of thing. But that kind of journey down the escalators after the film, it's like you need to kind of put all these, you know, you need to put all these thoughts into your head, and digest all your opinions straight away, and it kind of, I don't know. Lauren says, thank you to your father also. Times like this highlight the real heroes in our society. Well said. Razorwire Review says, don't talk about Fight Club. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I know, I've just broke my own rule. I did do that once. I was doing a Blu-ray collection video and I was like trying to save time going through the whole Blu-rays and being like, oh, God, I can't have this to be, you know, an hour long. So I was trying to come up with sort of funny ways to try and talk about the films. And then when I got to Fight Club, I said, you don't talk about Fight Club. But I guess you're right, that's probably why there's no reviews on YouTube. You're not allowed to talk about it. But in actual fact, it is a great film. And it got to the point where I watched it one time, and for some reason I get interrupted. And for some reason, I just never went back to watch it. I was like halfway through the film, and for some reason I never went back to it. So I'd never seen it the whole way through. Which is a crime when you think about it, because it's such a great film and it's so iconic, you know what I mean? So I got to the point where I had to sit down and watch the full thing, so I made a point to do it, and it was great. I didn't know how trippy it was, you know? I didn't know that it was all these theories about it and that sort of thing, even in that first half. And even after that whole first half, and not having, like, being around film and doing movie podcasts and being at drama school and all that sort of stuff, I never knew about the twist, if there is a twist. But if there was a twist, I didn't know about it, and which was cool. I don't like spoilers a lot. Let's see. Luke also says, yeah, me and Connie don't really talk until after the customary escalator pilgrimage. Yes, you're absolutely right. It's just weird. It's like you need to kind of think about, oh, what did I think about the last 2.5 hours of my life? And let's talk about it now. You know what I mean? I just find it hard, especially when you see something really heavy. You know, and even when you don't really know how you feel about it. Like recently, when I saw Birds of Prey at the cinema, you know, the way I watching the film, I was getting kind of frustrated with it, and I was like, I don't know if I'm enjoying this or not. I need to kind of think about it. And then when the film finished, I was like, I think I enjoyed that. Like, that was alright, you know, it's not really what I was hoping for, and I like Margot Robbie, but it wasn't anything special, but I kind of enjoyed it. You know, Birds of Prey was a controversial film anyway. And then once I came out, I was like, I'm curious to see what they think, and my friends were like, I didn't like that at all, it wasn't for me, it was really annoying, I was frustrated with it, and I was kind of like, yeah, I'm also the same, you know. So I don't know. It's weird. That's how it works sometimes. You kind of have your opinion, and I'm really bad for this as well. A lot of my opinions are kind of swayed by other people, and I shouldn't have that at all. Like if I really like a film, and then whoever I'm with, or a YouTuber or a podcast or something, tells me why it's a bad film, then I'm like, you know what, you're right. I really need to hold on to my own opinions a little bit longer. Lauren says, anybody checked out the Tiger King series on Netflix? It's one of the most cripping, shocking, and just mental series I've ever seen. Hard to put into words, it is that ridiculous, highly recommended. Lawrence, it is, out of all the weird, bonkers, mental documentary series / documentaries on Netflix, it's my absolute favourite. I watched it, again, as I said, I'm not a TV guy, I'm not good at binge watching, I like to take my time with stuff and let things digest and try and remember certain episodes. Oh my god, that one I watched in a week, and there's a new one I've not seen yet, like the new sort of follow-up episode, which I don't think was necessary, and I think it's going to hurt the kind of reputation of the series. But it's so funny how a series like that, is that better? That's better. It's so funny how a series like that can just take over the whole world, to the point where Eamon and Ruth are talking about it on This Morning. Weird. Ruthless Aggression Guy, hello, thank you for joining us. Ruthless Aggression Guy, one of my probably my favourite era in the wrestling, not gonna lie. You ever seen the Sylvester Stallone film Cobra? No, I've not seen Cobra. There's so many films I've not seen. I was actually going through my Blu-rays earlier and I was trying to guess I was so bored. I was trying to guess what year they all came out, and I did horribly wrong. I said this on my podcast recently, The Good Bit, by the way. which we'll talk about in a minute. The good bit, I kind of talked about this recently, how I'm really, really good. It's like a party trick. Like, you give me a film, I should be able to name, what year it was from. But then it turns out that's not true at all, because I was looking through all my Blu-rays and I was looking at ones where I need to get a 2-watch list. I'm really bad at making decisions. I need a list on my phone of movies I want to see. And I thought, right, okay, I'll look through my Blu-rays and I'll take notes of ones that I've not seen in ages, like Dazed and Confused, or Detroit, or Bottle Rocket, or The Game, or Kick-Ass, for example. Kick-Ass has been on my mind a lot. I'm going to check that one out soon. And I was trying to guess which year they were out in, and I couldn't do it. So, no, I've not seen Cobra. There's so many I've not seen. And I guess I'll add that to my list. Thank you for the recommendation. Ruthless Aggression Guy, if you're still watching, I have a new podcast coming out on Sunday. The Wrestling Connection, a podcast all about how wrestling brings us all together. Some well-needed positivity in the wrestling world. We're going to talk about general topics, not, WrestleMania or Raw or NXT. It's going to be specific generic topics. Like, that makes no sense, does it? Specific generic. Specific topics that you can listen to at any point. So, for example, the first episode is all about how we became wrestling fans. That's coming out on Sunday, so check that one out if you can. And if anybody else likes wrestling, there we go. Luke says, for me, I remain pretty much unswayed with film opinions. To a fault, perhaps. Yeah, it can be... It's good and bad, I think. You get to the point where it's so good to kind of share opinions. It's so good to kind of... Sometimes when you're not sure of what you think of a film, it's good to kind of watch a review or read a review or listen to a podcast or something and just go, right, okay, this is what I'm thinking. You know what? Yeah, I was thinking that, but I maybe just couldn't verbalise it. But a lot of people are really, really I have my opinions and I'm sticking to them, and that's totally cool, because that's it's what watching movies is all about, and getting opinions on movies is all about. Having that kind of generic, sort of objective opinion, Lawrence Shawshank, of course. Oh, I have to guess the Shawshank year. Shawshank came out in 1994. Give me a harder one, please. Shawshank I actually watched recently. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I remember there was controversy with me when I first started my podcast in 2016, which is 4 years ago. The good bit's been going for 4 years. Mental. But I remember watching Shawshank for the first time then, 2016, and being like, I don't get the hype. It's a good film, but it's not the greatest film of all time. And since then, I've watched it maybe 4 more times, even once a year. And now I can absolutely see why people say it's the greatest of all time. And again, that's another one. When you hear these classics, your expectations are through the roof. You know what I mean? And when you're told something's the greatest of all time, when it's not the greatest of all time, it's then just so far down on your list. So I love Shawshank, and I watched it recently. It was on Sky, and I just recorded it, or it was on ITV actually, which I quite like. I don't know what it is. I don't know if anybody else agrees, but when a film is on TV, almost makes it easier to watch. I don't know if it's because of the adverts and you can fast forward through, I don't know. Luke says Shawshank is brilliant and highly overrated. I thought that for many, many years. And is it the greatest film of all time? Absolutely not. It's not Rush Hour 2. But it's definitely up there. It's definitely got to be in the top 25 anyway. My God. And no, Rush Hour 2 is my least favourite Rush Hour. Can't decide which one I like the best, 1 or 3. Ruthless Aggression Guy, yeah, dude, I will check out the podcast. Thanks so much. You ever seen any Clint Eastwood movies? I have. Not off the top of my head. I have a few in here. I have Easy Rider. Check this one out. I have this one on Criterion. And I think I only picked this up because I love the artwork. And Luke will agree with me here. When you see a really cool Blu-ray or a cool DVD release, or maybe not a DVD, but when you see a cool release that just looks cool, it's almost like 70% of the reason to buy. But I was going through a phase where I was watching some westerns and a Criterion sort of phase last year, and clearly I had the money at the time to buy films I'd never seen before. But I've not seen this yet. It's in my collection. It's one of those ones where it's in the collection and I've not watched yet. Luke doesn't know anything about that though, because he's seen every single film in his collection. He didn't make a whole section of his shelf and his setups all for films he's not seen. By the way, if anybody's watching this that doesn't know Luke's channel, I doubt it. Razor Wire Reviews, who's in the chat here. He posted a video yesterday or the day before showing his kind of movie office and his movie collection and all the Blu-rays that he's got. And it's incredible. I love watching movies like that. I love watching videos like that. Just seeing everybody else's collections. It kind of, not only does it inspire me to buy more, but it kind of makes me jealous because their collections are so great and their rooms are so cool. And this is pretty cool. This is good bit of studios. I film all my podcasts and my videos here, but it's just, I've got my TV, my PlayStation, my laptop's here, which broke last week. I'm using a kind of makeshift one until I get a new one. And then I have my films here that I've done in my kind of Blu-ray movie collection videos before. But I love when I see like full rooms and stuff. It looks brilliant. I'm pulling piles of Blu-ray off said shelves as you speak. I will talk you through the misery of pulling Blu-rays off the shelves and not knowing where to put them. You've got so many. Where do you put them? I don't know. Casey Byrne. Welcome, Casey. You ever see Kelly's Heroes with Clint Eastwood? No, I've not. Clint Eastwood. I've not seen Kelly's Heroes. Shall I add it? I was looking for my phone. I'm filming on my phone. I'll add that to my list. Let me take a note of it on this pen here. Give me a random poster that I don't need. What's it called? Kelly's Heroes. Because of this downtime though, we've got more time to watch things, don't we? So I'll definitely check them out. If you've got any recommendations, Kelly's Heroes with Clint Eastwood. Noted. I've taken note of any other films and I'll check them out. Kelly's Heroes, never heard of it either. So it's funny, I was a guest on a film podcast this week called The Rap Chat, and it's hosted by two old lecturers from uni, from drama school. And back in 2016 I was a guest on it there, like then when I was still in drama school. So it was weird because they were like my lecturers, you know. So it was weird to kind of be on their podcast. But since then, it's 3 years later or whatever, 2016, 4 years later. It was Christmas of 2016, so 3.5 years later anyway. I'm back on the podcast as now a graduate and a normal human. And a guest, as a friend, I guess. And they're kind of wanting to keep me on now as a kind of youthful third point, because my two lecturers are both in their 50s, I want to say. Hope they don't see this. But they're in their 50s and they talk about, they're very, very knowledgeable about films. You could talk about them, to them about films for hours. They know everything about films and TV and plays and that sort of thing. It's always just this massive amount of knowledge that you learn when you listen to them. So I've always listened to the podcast, but now I'm kind of like the third kind of young anchor on there. So I'm really enjoying that. So we did an episode and it was kind of like the return of the podcast, and that was posted a couple of days ago. So you can find that on all your podcasting outlets. The Rap Chat, as in like, that's a rap of a production company. I thought that was a pretty cool name. So, Lawrence, my internet crashed. Great quick answer on Shawshank. Thank you. I know Shawshank really well. Man of many skills. Damn right. Add these Clint Eastwood movies to your list. My God. Right, okay. A whole Clint Eastwood recommendation section. So Dirty Harry, I believe I've seen, but not in many years. I remember that because Undertaker did a spoof of it in 2005 for WrestleMania 21. Dirty Harry. What did you just say? Dirty Harry, Escape from Alcatraz, Gran Torino. I believe that's the one I watched. Every Which Way But Loose. Eastwood is not in Easy Rider. He was in a film called Pale Rider. You're right, I'm getting confused. Pale Rider is a great film. I've seen Pale Rider, but I've not seen Easy Rider. I'm getting mixed up, what is it? I'm just getting mixed up, I think, because it's like that sort of western, and it's got Rider in the title. But yeah, it's directed by Dennis Hopper. So, yes, Pale Rider's a good one. I actually remember watching Pale Rider. It was on one time when I was in drama school, and we had homework for the next day and people were struggling in the kind of group chat, and Pale Rider just happened to be on TV, and I was like, everybody, whilst you're doing your homework for class, check out ITV3 right now. Pale Rider's on. It's a great film. It's one of the few westerns I've ever seen, and I loved it. And it's one of those ones, you know, the way, you know, you need to be in the mood for a type of film. Westerns are such a distinct style of film, so it's like you want to put them on, you want to go for it, but you need to really be up for it. Excuse me. So yes, I'm not going to write all them down because I don't have enough space. I do have enough space, I'm talking crap. Right, okay, so Dirty Harry. Let's check that one out. I've seen parts of that. Escape from Alcatraz. Heard of that one. That's very famous. Gran Torino. Believe I've seen bits of. From like, wherever. Every Which Way But Loose. I've been wanting to watch that one for a while. So I guess I'm going to go on a kind of western Clint Eastwood style. And that's cool. Every Which Way But Loose. Cool, and I'd like to check out Pale Rider again actually. What a great film that is. And what was the other one? Kelly's Heroes. Cool, thank you guys. That's 5 films that I can take note of and I'll check out in this downtime. So yeah, I watched Fight Club. What else did I watch? So I've been watching Ozark, the series on Netflix. And I'm halfway through season 1. And I'll tell you what, see today, right, I was on Twitter, and last night I remember actually saying out loud, no one else was in the room, I one of those things I was talking to myself. I actually said out loud, this is a good show. Like, I'm really enjoying Ozark, and I'm just enjoying sitting, watching a show at a small kind of pace. And it's been the first time since like Breaking Bad and that sort of thing where I'm really taking my time watching it in bulk and like in binge style, but still going through one by one and kind of taking in what's happening in the episodes. And there's so much that goes on in Ozark. So many character and story arcs. It's crazy. So many character story Ozarks. Sorry. So, and who knew Jason Bateman was so good? My God, he was always just the comedy guy. With is it Ryan Reynolds is it the Change Up he's in with Ryan Reynolds? I don't know, that's just off the top of my head. But I knew he was a kind of comedic actor, but I'd never seen him do something so drastic like Ozark. But he's great, and the daughter is absolutely stunning, and the wee guy is brilliant. His son, so good. So I'm really enjoying checking out Ozark. And then on Twitter today, right, I was scrolling through Twitter and someone tweeted, Ozark is awesome until you realise it's not that good. And that tweet means nothing, right? It's someone's opinion and it doesn't even make much sense. But just because I read that, my opinions and my judgmental side of me was going off the charts, you know, and I was like, oh God, this is my opinions being swayed by someone I don't even know on Twitter who probably, it didn't make any sense with his remarks on Ozark, so I need to make sure I check that one out. In terms of films, does it really get much better than The Blues Brothers? My favourite growing up and it stuck with me. The Blues Brothers is an incredible film. And one that I have a lot of nostalgia kicks with because of Drake and Josh. Anybody watched Drake and Josh back in the day? Drake and Josh did this kind of live performance of Soul Man in one of the episodes, and I knew that song before I knew the film, and I was like singing the song one day and my dad's like, you're like 5, why are you singing the Blues Brothers? And then we watched the Blues Brothers together. It's a great film. I had it on DVD, I don't have it on Blu-ray, and there's been so many times I've been at HMV and I've held the Blues Brothers on the feckin' in my hand, and I've been like, I'm gonna buy this right now. You ever seen Pulp Fiction? No, I've never seen Pulp Fiction. Of course I've seen Pulp Fiction, one of the greatest films of all time. Again, 1994. Pulp Fiction is one of my favourite films of all time. It's my favourite Tarantino, I'd say. Right in front of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I saw last year with one of my least favourite people in the entire world. I was sitting in London and I went to visit a fake friend, and I sat I sat in this big fancy cinema with someone who didn't even buy me dinner, said he was going to buy me dinner, and we went to see, no, it wasn't even that, I was blinded by the light we saw in this fancy cinema. I joke, obviously. My good close personal friend R&D, who is now just joined the live stream and is pulling me up for not liking Jurassic Park. I do like Jurassic Park, actually. I think it's overrated though. Much like Luke said earlier that Shawshank is overrated. Controversial opinions form people. So many things there. So Pulp Fiction, yes, I love Pulp Fiction. I can't do these live streams because I get distracted so much. Pulp Fiction is one of my favourite films. It's my favourite Tarantino. My second favourite Tarantino would be The Hateful Eight, which I saw with Aaron. And then my third favourite Tarantino would be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I brought this up on this podcast that I was a guest on, the Rap Chat. And I kind of said that, is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a guilty pleasure, or is it just a pleasure? To me, it's just a pleasure. I think it's a brilliant film. And Aaron thinks the same. Aaron, by the way, is my original co-host of The Good Bit. We started together and we finished together. It's not even finished, but there you go. That's my point. Like, and I kind of said, is that a guilty pleasure watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Because when you bring it up to people, they kind of go, "Oh well, you're just saying that because it's Tarantino, and not much happens, and it's quite boring, and it just doesn't make any sense, and there's too many stories in and out, and the characters are just explained for ages, and there's really long scenes that are really boring, and what you just like Margot Robbie's feet." And whilst all those things may be true, I don't know. I'm only kidding. That was weird. But that's the kind of the argument people give, don't they? They go like, "Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, why do you like that so much? Nothing happens. It's just close-ups of people's feet the whole time." But it's a brilliant film. It's one of the best films of last year. It was number 3, I think, on my top 10 on the podcast. So I love Once Upon a Time. Why don't I like Jurassic Park, says Aaron. The reason he's bringing that up, the context of that one is, one time he said that Jurassic Park was one of his favourite films of all time. I said it was overrated. He has not spoke to me since, apart from right now. Lawrence, great tune. I'm assuming he is referring to The Soul Man. Lincoln Lawyer, saw that last week for the first time. Decent. Not seen Lincoln Lawyer. I'll add that to the list too. You know the way I feel like I'm really educated on films, and then I start these things, and I'm a guest on podcasts, and I'm like, I know nothing about it's not that I don't know anything about films, but I there's so many out there that I've not seen. You remember that video you did on reacting to backyard wrestling? That video still makes me laugh to this day. Good! I'm glad. That's why we do it, man. That's why we do videos, especially in this sort of tough time that we're all living in. I've got a Facebook message. Especially this tough time that we're all living in. You know, you need to kind of have those sort of moments where you can laugh and you can not take things too seriously. And if you can, even if it was an old video, I think it was about a year ago I uploaded that one. Maybe I'll do another one. If you enjoyed it, thank you so much for checking it out. It means a lot and letting me know. I'm just going to reply to a Facebook message. Talk amongst yourselves. My mate is asking me to do something and I'm doing a live stream, so maybe you can be a real friend and tune into the live stream. Okay. Got to shoot, mate. Not to be rude, but tea time. All the best with the new podcast. We'll definitely tune in. Cheers, man. Take care. You too, Lawrence. Thank you so much, as I said, for tuning in now, but also tuning into all the reactions and that sort of thing. Always notice your comments. Always try to reply. It means the world. And yes, new podcast Sunday, The Wrestling Connection. There's a pilot up already, so check out the first episode, which comes out on Sunday. I would love for as many people to check that one out as possible. And Ruthless Aggression Guy, I'm assuming by your title that you're a wrestling fan. And if you liked my backyard wrestling reaction, we talk a little bit about backyard wrestling in this upcoming podcast. And also, we did a pilot episode, which is up now on Spotify for sure. And those other things that I read out. Breaker, Google Pods, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, and Anchor. The pilot's already on there. It was just a kind of like a, we're getting started, here's our pilot, like, this is what it's going to be. And just to kind of have that episode sitting there so we could use it as a guinea pig sort of thing. That's on there. And we kind of talk about some backyard wrestling, so definitely I'll talk about backyard wrestling a lot on that. Good, look forward to it. Thank you. Please check it out. I'm sure you'll like it, and let me know what you think, whether it be on Twitter or on here. Let me know what you think. Twitter, by the way, is @CM42TV for anybody who has Twitter. My co-host on the Wrestling Connection today sent me a text saying that he needs a break from social media, and that is so true. Sometimes social media can get too much, especially now when we're sitting in the house doing not that much here in quarantine. Social media can get a bit much, and because you're just refreshing the same apps all the time on the phone, that can be quite a lot. See you later, Luke. Thanks for tuning in. Always a pleasure chatting. I'm sure I'll be back to finish any more videos that I'm still watching. Do you know, Luke posted a Blu-ray update the other day. It was like 42 minutes long, and I was thinking, oh God, I really want to check it out, but it's 42 minutes. But I'm like 38 minutes in, and I got interrupted. So I'll watch the last few minutes of that as soon as I'm done here. I need to film a couple of videos though, so I'll go off here in about 10 minutes or so. I've got to film a few videos for the next few days, and then as I said earlier, we're going to do a sort of movie night tonight. We're going to check out Big Hero 6. So I've never seen it before, so I'm looking forward to checking that out too. What else have I been watching then? So I checked out Quiz, the ITV drama. I don't know if anyone's seen Quiz, the dramatisation of the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire major fraud thing, which was really interesting because it's one of those ones where I'd watched documentaries on it for years, and I'd watched theories about it for years, and I knew what happened, and I was like, yeah, I'm 100% sure that this guy's guilty. And then I watched this dramatisation, a series called Quiz, about the whole thing, and they redone the whole thing. And for some reason, like they showed both sides of the argument. They showed like the guilty version of it and the sort of ways that he could be innocent. And by the end of the last episode, you really don't know whether he'd done it or not. He could easily be innocent, you know, which really threw me off. I couldn't believe it because I was so set in my ways. It's funny how stubborn you can get when you're so set in your ways, you know. So that's cool. I've been reading this as well. Any other wrestling fans? Listen to the chair. God, I needed a chair. Under the Black Hat, JR autobiography. My life in the Derby and beyond. Jim Ross, the voice of wrestling. And you have The Rock, Jericho, and Mark Cuban on the back there. So I'm halfway through. The only thing I'd say, it's great so far. The only thing I'll say about this, I take the thing off just so it doesn't get damaged, but is it's that for you. Only thing I'll say about this autobiography in this book is that I already know everything. You know what I mean? Like, he's telling stories about Austin turning heel, and he's telling stories about signing Brock Lesnar, and these stories have been driven into the ground. It's crazy. for years, you know. They tell these stories, and just reading it is a bit different. Do you know what I mean? But it's still the same story, you know. Yeah, I saw a quiz. I enjoyed that because I knew before about the major fraud. Me too. And it was interesting to see it in court. It makes you wonder if he was guilty or not. Absolutely. That's what I was thinking. It's just I was 100% sure that that he was guilty, and then I watched it and I was like, you never know. You never know. Since I figured out how to podcast remotely, I've been doing it mental. I've been going nuts. I've been doing Zoom chats, obviously, like everybody else is doing. Been doing Zoom chats with people, catching up with friends and that sort of thing, which is always nice. But then so I wanted to do an episode of The Good Bit, which is my podcast, my main podcast. But just in terms of getting everybody together at the same time, and then what do you talk about? You know, there's so much to talk about, you know. You're a fan of the TV game show The Chase. The Chase is one of my favourite shows to watch, actually. Do you know what I mean? It's one of my favourite shows to I just love quiz shows in general. Quiz shows when they can test general knowledge, film knowledge, music, things like that. I love quiz shows, so watching The Chase every day is a big deal. Jonathan Samanda, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey mate, have you reacted? Oh, sorry. You reacted to the wrong Muse Stockholm Syndrome live? No. So I've been checking out a lot of Muse recently, which I'm sure a bunch of you are aware of. I'll copy and paste that into the search engine, the one you recommended. And I've been getting a bunch of recommendations for Muse songs. So Muse are a band that I've always known, but I've never really listened to. So I thought, right, okay, well, I love a bunch of the songs. I love Unplugging Baby. So I'll check out some more of the songs. So I checked out Uprising, I think was the first one I watched. And I was like, this is a great music video and a great song. Then I checked out Supremacy and it blew my socks off. I was like, God, this song's incredible. And I was like, right, okay, now I'm going to start listening to the more Muse. And the video's got a good response, and a lot of the comments were like, you need to check out live stuff. Like, Muse live is where it's at. So I was okay. I'll check out some live stuff and I'll react to the live stuff, because the easiest thing about reacting to live music is that there's a very small chance you'll get copyright claims. So I try to do the live stuff as much as possible because of, especially the time we're in right now, you know, I kind of want to run ads on the videos, you know, to make a bit of revenue because I'm not working. So if I could do, you know, as much as I can without copyright claims, I would love that, you know. So I started doing live stuff, and a bunch of them just Citizen Erased and Plug-in Baby and Stockholm Syndrome and Knights of Sidonia. Some of these songs were just incredible visuals. You know, the one I did this past week was Bliss, amazing. I'm just sitting here now, like, watching them and not even saying anything. I'm just like, my God, they're incredible. So Stockholm Syndrome was a good one, but apparently Jonathan has said that I've done the wrong one, Stockholm Syndrome. Only thing though, I don't know if I'll react to Stockholm Syndrome anytime soon because there's so many other songs to do, you know. But I'll definitely check out the Stockholm Syndrome at the Rock Am Ring. I've seen a bunch of my favourite bands at the Rock Am Ring or the Rock AM Ring, however you pronounce it. Whether it be Alter Bridge or Fozzy or whoever. So the fact that Muse is there, I'll definitely check that one out. But I will check it out, don't worry. I will. Thank you though for the recommendation. Did you watch WrestleMania? And if you did, what were your thoughts? Loved WrestleMania. It was definitely the most distinct and individual and unique WrestleMania of all time. It's funny, you know, every WrestleMania has its own personality. Stephanie McMahon said that at the start of the show. Every WrestleMania has its own personality, and it's so true when you think back to WrestleManias from all over the years. You know which one was this colour, and you know which one was this logo, and this stadium, and this arena, and whatever. And this main event, they kind of like, I'm distinctive because of that. And those things, they make it their own sort of thing, you know. And it's so funny how this one is the most different of them all. You know, you're never going to forget this WrestleMania. You're never going to forget this time in life. Never mind WrestleMania, but you're never going to forget this time in wrestling. So it's so interesting. And a lot of those shows, I was kind of used to it by then, like watching the empty arena matches and that sort of thing, because of Raw and SmackDown. But still, like, and I love the fact they gave the matches time because it was split over 2 nights now, so there's no rushes. You know, you didn't need to do quick matches other than fucking Goldberg and Strowman, but that was always going to be that anyway. So like the first match, right? I always put so much pressure on this sort of stuff. I'm always like, what's the first match going to be? What's the first song you're going to hear at WrestleMania? What's the main event? What's this? The first match was Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors. 4 incredible performers, wrestlers. Nikki Cross, I've met a bunch of times. I've actually been in the ring with Nikki Cross. I used to do a bit of wrestling training back in the day. I'd love to be a wrestler, but back in the day when I was going to give it a try and I went to wrestling school, Nikki Cross was the trainer, and Nikki Cross was teaching me how to run the ropes in the ring. So I started running the ropes and I kept scuffing my feet on the mat, and Nikki Cross like put her arm out to stop me, like right across here as I was on the rope. Nikki Cross was like, if I came to your house, would I scuff my feet all over your carpet? And I was like, no, I'd hope not. She's like, good, so stop scuffing your feet in my ring. Stop making a mess of my house. And I was like, oh my god, I just got shouted at by Nikki Cross. So good to see her doing well. She's such a nice person and she's a great wrestler, and it's so good to see her doing well. My god, Scotland and now in WWE. Drew, Wolfgang, Mark Coffey, Nikki Cross, everybody's just killing it with the titles just now. It's incredible, it's brilliant. So good to see. I feel like there's another one. Who's the other champion that's from Scotland? Drew, Mark Coffey, Wolfgang, Nikki Cross. Maybe that's it. I'm forgetting someone obvious and it's going to annoy me later. I don't know. But, oh, it's going to bug me. I need to look now. I need to look. Current WWE champions. Yes, anyway, WrestleMania was so distinctive, you're never going to forget it, man. You're never ever going to forget it. It's a crazy time. 24/7 champion Rob Gronkowski. Kaylee Ray, that's who it is. How can I forget Kaylee Ray? One of my favourites. She's the NXT UK Women's Champion. I love Kaylee Ray. So yeah, Scotland is killing it right now in WWE. I'm so proud of Drew. My god, I'm so proud of Drew. It's crazy. But in terms of WrestleMania, yeah, I loved WrestleMania. Thought it was great. So distinctive, so unique. Edge and Orton was only given 1 star from Meltzer. What? Crazy. No way a 1 star. It was long, and it was a lot of walk and brawl, the same stuff for 40 minutes, a bit like this live stream. But it was no way 1 star. No way Jose. Speaking of no way Jose, how can I forget all the fucking releases yesterday? Everybody getting released. This is not, I don't want to make this a wrestling live stream, but I feel so bad for some of them. Like Spud, Drake Maverick's video was heartbreaking. But people like Rusev and Gallows and Anderson, people who wanted to get out for ages, you know, they're probably alright. They were getting great money. But now obviously they just can't pay those massive contracts that they give them. So again, all this chat will be on my new wrestling podcast, The Wrestling Connection. And I said this at the start of the live stream, but if you're just joining us now, a wee exclusive here. The Wrestling Connection starts on Sunday, new wrestling podcast, and we will be introduced by a wrestling commentator who works for WWE right now. We'll be introducing myself and Glenn this Sunday for the Wrestling Connection podcast, episode 1, how we became wrestling fans. Tune in. Definitely on Spotify, definitely on Google Podcasts, definitely on Pocket Casts, definitely on Anchor, most likely Apple Podcasts and iTunes, most likely, but just not yet. Rey Mysterio and Batista tag team matches versus Big Show and Kane, those were the days. God, I wish I was 13 again. Yep, you're damn right, man. That time in WWE was some of my favourite times. Seeing Batista and Rey Mysterio and John Cena and Shawn Michaels and people like that. And I actually got to the point where I was watching a lot of Ruthless Aggression stuff recently, but I've gone back to the Attitude Era stuff because I don't know it as well. I know it really well, but I don't. In the year 2000, I don't know that well. I know pay-per-views, but in terms of week to week, I need to kind of brush up my opinions and my knowledge on that. But I'm going to leave it there. This has been nearly 45 minutes of your time that you can never get back. Triple H and Batista had good matches as well. Absolutely, I love their feud, by the way. And you know, that is an underrated feud. If you remember right, you do remember right. That was a great 2005. Great. Are you a Chris Benoit fan? Says Ruthless Aggression guy. I hope that's not just for a reaction, because my god. In terms of the wrestler, of course, one of the greatest of all time. In terms of the person, how can you forget and how can you brush off what he did? Ruined his reputation and almost ruined the entire wrestling business, and almost the less said about it the better. But the new Dark Side of the Ring documentary that was posted a couple of weeks ago, 2 parts, was unbelievable. Good, yeah, I know, and everyone's interested in the Benoit stuff. Yes, I can still watch his matches. I can still enjoy his matches, like the WrestleMania 20 main event is one of my favourites of all time. That's cool. But in terms of, you can't, like, for example, people saying he should be in the Hall of Fame. There's no way he should be in the Hall of Fame. Can you imagine that speech from one of his pals, you know what I mean, or his son, you know, it just couldn't happen, you know, and I don't think he deserves to be in there. I don't think he should be in there, and he will never be in there, which is a shame because it was his own fault, of course. Then Eddie Guerrero had like a similar story. Eddie Guerrero, this is going to total tangent here. Eddie Guerrero was so big on pills and addiction and that sort of thing, and he had a heart attack, but he was brushing his teeth at the time, and I don't know why that's such a distinctive thing, but I always remember him brushing his teeth. I remember telling people in my school Eddie Guerrero died when he was brushing his teeth, but yeah, he had a big heart attack due to overdosing in pills and just a bunch of stress and all that stuff. It just became too much. And if you watch his matches around 2005, Eddie Guerrero, that is, you can see his body's covered in like that sort of acne stuff that you see when people are just juiced out their nut. His body is huge, man, in those sort of last matches of his career, like that feud he has with Ray, which is a great feud, and that match with Batista at No Mercy 05. He's huge, and he just doesn't look healthy, and then he fucking dies a few months later. It's horrible. Eddie Guerrero, one of the greatest of all time, one of my favourites of all time, and definitely gone too soon. If anyone deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, it's him. And I know he was inducted in 06, I believe. Read Eddie Guerrero's book, very interesting and emotional, one of the best books. I think I read this book, did I? I might have read this book. I always remember finding that his DVD was called Cheating Death, Stealing Life. And I found that really weird, the fact they said Cheating Death in the title of his thing. Obviously it was just a coincidence and it was just the title of the DVD, but I always found that really interesting, I don't know why. But when I was younger, my favourite wrestling book was the Shawn Michaels one, Heartbreak and Triumph. I distinctly remember reading that loads of times throughout school. Now my favourite wrestling book, I actually like Jericho's most recent one, his sort of positive self-help book that came out. It was like Noah's a 4-letter word, it's called. I read it when I was in Orlando in 2018. And I don't know, I just, not only did it, you know, was it the wrestling connection, no pun intended, through there, my new podcast. Not only was it because of wrestling that I was involved in and liked the book, but also because it was that self-help thing, it made me kind of like inspired to kind of be better and go and sort of achieve your dreams and that sort of thing. By the way, watch the movie Warrior if you haven't seen it. Love Warrior, it's in the collection, I believe. Here it is. Warrior. In this collection here, I've said before, if you check out my Blu-ray collection videos here, it's like a list of movies that I always approve of, and that if visitors come over, I'm always like, check out my movies and see what you think of them. Warrior's a great one, and Warrior was one I bought and I was like, I don't want to watch a UFC film, do you know what I mean? You need to be in the mood for a sports film. But then I was told at drama school that it's more about the relationship between the guys and their dad, and I was like, alright, okay, it's not so much about UFC. And then I watched it, I loved it. Great film, really, really emotional. It's about MMA, but Kurt Angle does a nice cameo, yes he does, and plays a big Russian guy. Great movie with Tom Hardy and Nick Nolte. Couldn't have said it any better. Jonathan Simanda. Cool name, by the way. Yep, Warrior, can't recommend it enough, really good film. And it's not just an MMA film, it's not just a UFC film, it's more about the connection between, and the relationship between the trainers and the parents and the brothers. It's a brilliant film. Acting is superb in the film. So, yeah. Anyway, gotta go. We can do 5 more minutes. If anybody has anything else they'd like to share. Did that Warrior case say all the Rockies into one? If so, I need to check Warrior out. All the Rockies into one, yes, by shortlist it was said. It says inspirational when it's given 4 stars by Nuts, The Sun, and 5 stars by Empire. Empire can be quite picky. So, that's one thing. There's Tom Hardy. And look at it, looks awesome, doesn't he? Tom Hardy. Definitely check it out, it's a good film. Really good film. Cheers from Sweden. Isn't that just the most ridiculous thing, you know? People from all over the world checking this out and just checking out videos and podcasts and that sort of thing. I'm always amazed by that. Thank you so much for checking out the videos. From Sweden, I hope everything's well over there in Sweden. Never been there, would love to come. So yeah, hope everything's well. This is such a worldwide pandemic we're going through. Everybody's in the same boat, and it's amazing how much it's just brought everybody together. So yeah. My brother's got Warrior on DVD. I should watch it soon. Absolutely, Warrior is a belter. I definitely recommend checking it out. Any other film recommendations before I go? Oh, I'd recommend Ozark. I'm already halfway through season 1. I'm already recommending it. Fight Club, as I talked about earlier on, which I probably shouldn't have done. And what other films do I recommend? I'm looking at my Blu-ray. I like all these films on my shelves here. That's why I have them. But there is a bunch I've not seen yet. Drive, for example. I bought Drive with Ryan Gosling because I really like the cover. It's an awful reason to buy a film. I need to watch that, and tonight I'm watching Big Hero 6. So I'll maybe do a wee review of that. Why not? I wish I would do more, like just random movie reviews, but I guess because they get low view count, it doesn't make any difference. That doesn't matter to me, you know, like how many views it gets and stuff. But I guess when you see videos that do get a lot of views, you go, okay, I'll do another one of those, and you kind of choose that over, you know, like a simple movie review or something. But I'd love to get back to doing some more movie reviews and that sort of thing, or movie vlogs anyway, you know. Jonathan says, not a film, but Netflix now shows Peaky Blinders. Great way to spend your time isolated. Never seen Peaky Blinders, but my sister is a massive fan. And she's recommended it loads of times. She said I like it. Especially because I don't like period dramas and that sort of thing, but this is like a sort of different type of period drama, isn't it? It's like old school Britain. Like kind of rough Britain, that sort of thing. But yeah, I've heard it's great and I would love to get to it. But I believe it's quite a few seasons. So movie vlogs sound good. I would check those out. That's all I needed to hear. If anybody's going to watch them, that sounds good. I'll do some more movie vlogs, which will be much like this. Like it's just, you can probably tell when I'm talking about something that I don't have too many opinions on. I kind of get, you know, diverted and that sort of thing. So maybe if I do a wee movie vlog and a movie review, then maybe I can tangent off and talk about other stuff. You ever seen the film Double Impact? Nope, another one I've not seen. The list, I do have a massive list on my phone. Double Impact. Double Impact. I know there's Deep Impact as well. Double Impact. I have a massive list on my phone of films that I haven't seen that I want to check out during downtime or just any time really. And earlier on today I was going through my collection, I was picking out ones that I should either rewatch or I've not seen before. Jonathan says you like the current seasons now they introduce some of the Scottish gangs from the 1930s. God, might hit home. Not that I know much about Scottish gangs or anything, especially from the 1930s, so cool, I'll definitely check it out. Thank you for the recommendation. I'm assuming that's Peaky Blinders. But yeah, thank you for the recommendation, that sounds good. I'll check out Peaky Blinders at some point. There's loads of shows that I really want to check out. Yeah, actors, the cast of Peaky Blinders is incredible. Cillian Murphy, Tom Hardy, Adrian Brody. Cool. You should watch Over the Top with Stallone. Over the Top, I'll add that one too. I've never heard of Over the Top. What's Over the Top about? I know a play called Air the Tap, which my mate was in. Jonathan said that was a good one. Okay, Over the Top. Not seen it. Stallone has made... Stallone, Schwarzenegger, those guys, like that kind of generation, like they've made so many films. Nicolas Cage, Jason Statham, all those kind of actions guys, they've made so many films and they all just, like, you see one, you feel like you've seen them all, but every time you tune into one you really enjoy it. It's one of those ones, so that's cool. Over the Top is an arm wrestling movie. Really? An arm wrestling movie? Interesting, I'm going to note that down. Over the Top, I guess it could be Over the Top. Anyone checked out the Big Show series on Netflix yet? I'm yet to check it out. The Big Show. I need to check that out. It's I was down to watch. I saw the trailer and I was like, man, the Big Show doing a sitcom, and Rikishi's in the trailer and Mick Foley's in the trailer, and I was like, okay, this is going to be great. The trailer looked really good. Like Big Show being funny is always great. He's always very entertaining in interviews and things like that and documentaries. So I'll definitely check out the Big Show. It's a funny title as well. But I've just not done it yet. And there's also a WWE film on Netflix as well called The Main Event or something. I believe it's got The Miz, Sheamus and Otis. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. Also, very sad news yesterday hearing about Howard Finkel. My God. The greatest ring announcer of all time. R.I.P. the Fink. 69 years old. Is far too young for anybody to be dying. Nevertheless a legend. I ain't seen it, but have you ever seen the Big Show film Knucklehead? Have I seen Knucklehead? I think I did see it. Or I might be getting confused with The Chaperone, which stars Triple H. Those sort of crappy WWE movies from the late 2010s, or early 2010s, I mean, from like 2011. I remember it coming out, and for some reason I remember it being a big deal on Blu-ray. I might have seen it, I can't remember it. Obviously it's not, you know, it can't be that good if I can't remember if I've seen it or not, but I don't know, honestly, if I've seen Knucklehead, but I wouldn't go back to it though, so probably not. I wouldn't recommend it. You like any movie starring John Cena? Yes, I do like. John Cena is one of the most underrated performers of all time, and in terms of wrestling, obviously, he's obviously starting his film career. I have seen Blockers, which I thought was hilarious. Although he's not the best part of that film. What's the guy's name in Blockers? I'm going to quickly look it up because I need to recommend this before I go. Blockers is good. It was a very funny film. It's about teenage girls who are going out to party for the first time, and their fathers and their mums, their parents I should say, are all very, they're kind of coming together and relating because their kids are going out and they're growing up for the first time. And they're getting quite what's the word? Overprotective of their kids. So the guy playing Hunter, right, his name is Ike Barinholtz. The actor's name is Ike Barinholtz. Don't know where he got that name from. Ike Barinholtz. He's the funniest part of Blockers. He's hilarious. I love it. So yes, my favourite scene of the film so far is Blockers. I thought Legendary was really good. That sort of like amateur high school wrestling film, Legendary from like 2010. So that was really good. And there's not a new one, Foxcatcher. I've not seen Foxcatcher yet, but I think it came out in like 2014 or something. With Steve Carell, who is one of my favourite actors, and I've not seen it, but The Marine in 12 Rounds. I guess if you were to watch those films as a film critic these days, you know, when you didn't kind of grow up around John Cena being the top guy, you'd think those films were ridiculous and not even that good. But I can tell you right now, if I was to watch The Marine or 12 Rounds now, I would love them because I loved them back then, and I'm a big nostalgia guy. I love that. I remember in The Marine where they're trying to outrun someone, and like the whole army they're trying to run away from is right in front of them, and Cena's pal was like, "How do we get round them?" And Cena goes, "We don't," and just goes through them all. And I thought that was really cool because Cena was the man back in the day. 12 Rounds is really good, and also, do you know what? 12 Rounds 2 with Randy Orton wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad at all. I mean, it's bad, but it wasn't that bad. Randy Orton, it was supposed to be Punk's movie, remember? It's supposed to be CM Punk's movie. Gotta go, see you soon, dude. Look forward to the podcast on Sunday. Ruthless Aggression Guy, thank you so much for joining us for this hour we've been doing this. It means a lot to me. And yes, please check out the podcast this Sunday. The Wrestling Connection will be on all podcasting outlets probably, hopefully. It's on Spotify right now anyway. And I will post it, the brand new episode on YouTube here on CM42 TV on Sunday as well. Thanks so much for joining us, and I'll go now too. So thank you to anybody who's joined over the past hour. If you watch this on demand, again, thank you so much. I'll be trying to do these live streams a bit more often now that we're in isolation, we're in quarantine. So again, stay safe everybody. Make sure you're washing your hands. Enjoy your downtime. We're never going to have downtime like this again. Enjoy it, embrace it, watch the TV, catch up on your favourite shows, learn some new things. Listen to some music, watch some YouTube videos. I'm here every day on CM42 TV. Kill the time in the best way possible. Be productive, stay positive, and we'll get through this together, baby. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. It means the world. And I'll be back tomorrow with another video here on CM42 TV. Thanks so much. Take care. I'll see some of you on Sunday for the brand new wrestling podcast, The Wrestling Connection. Take care, guys.